I've been playing one of Factorio's longest mods, Space Exploration plus Krastorio 2, for over 200 hours. We've colonized several planets, optimized intergalactic supply chains, and even built monolithic structures. We're in the endgame now, but with Factorio's biggest update ever, Space Age looming closer every day, our race to the finish before it's released is anything but certain. Will we stick the landing, or will the save file be abandoned and forgotten? Welcome to a race against time and space.
Show yourself!
Good pants.
This game really appeals to the male fantasy. You just wear camo pants. This is peak male fashion right here.
This is part 16. Last time we got 10 out of these 16 space sciences done. That sure feels good to say. This time I want to finish them up, hopefully get started on some spaceship stuff. Maybe? Hopefully? Also, the Factorio Friday Fun Facts from July 5th announced the all-important release date for Space Age, October 21st. Very exciting to have a day of finality to be shooting toward. Also, very humbling and scary. I started this project at the end of February, meaning that by the numbers, I'm more than halfway done. In fact, one helpful commenter broke it down in detail. I've done just over 300 hours of the game in about 4 months. With 3 months left, I can probably hit 600 hours if I need it. The quote-unquote average player takes 600 to 1,000 hours to beat this mod, according to internet nerds, and I'll just have to take their word for it. This means that if I can be an above-average gigabrain, which... we'll see, and I beat this mod in under 600 hours, I should be on pace. So thank you for this, and thank you to everyone who commented the same frame that this blog post came out with the information. It's encouraging to know that there are people as excited as I am. Now back to your regularly scheduled chaos.
I saw you put out a video.
Yes.
Wrong choice. Don't do that.
I need to stop. This needs to end.
How close are you to the...
Only 6 more space sciences.
Oh, so it's a while. When are you gonna get one of these?
One of what?
Spunky Monkey?
It sounds like edible porn.
Yeah, it kinda does.
Sounds like a fucking Ben and Jerry's flavor.
What's the name of that first cyberpunk movie with Harrison Ford?
Blade Runner?
Blade Runner.
Yeah, Blade Runner. You should play Blade Runner 1998.
1998.
Dude, that game. On your left, you can see Astronomics devolving into 100% spaghetti, which I actually encourage for space.
I currently hate running, so I probably will not start doing it naturally.
I don't think there's anything natural about it.
It makes me wonder if some people are more, not prone to runner's high, but
I've never experienced it.
The scam.
Maybe some people's lives are just that depressing. You know, like I think about that. I think like some people are like so adamant, like, yes, the runner's high is so real. And I'm like, so when do you feel it? And they're like, oh, as I run more, it gets harder to achieve. I'm sitting there like, I don't know. I ran like 26 miles. I still haven't felt it. I don't know. Maybe they're just confusing enjoyment for a runner's high. Is the definition just like you're not in pain?
your brain being like, oh, you're still running? Well, all right, I guess you must need to be running.
Yeah. No, nobody's out here talking about the walker's high.
Yeah, I get the runner's dysphoria.
I get runner's dissociation.
Damn.
Is this my body?
What if I just used all the oxygen in my bloodstream?
Don't quit.
Sounds like hell.
If you're ever running a race and they like have soda, just make sure you don't yell Coke, 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 Coke.
Coke.
You know what I say? Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Banner, 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 and then they kick me out.
What do you think the smallest area you could do a marathon in is?
Kitchen.
A living room.
Somebody did a marathon in a Costco.
Okay.
They will try to kick you out.
Try.
To get you.
If it's a snack day, if
Ooh.
it's serving samples.
The problem is like the traffic at Costco.
Well, you don't have to do it in the fucking parking lot.
No, like inside. Parking lot would be way better.
Trained my whole life, bro.
All right, coming soon, the 2024 Costco Marathon.
Dude, I'm ducking and weaving through adults. Easy.
I mean, I think you could do it in 8 hours. Like, as long as you stayed moving for 8 hours at like a 19-minute pace.
Yeah, see? Astronomics 3 focuses on negative energy, dark matter, gamma rays, all these physics concepts that get me excited about what I might unlock, but fundamentally it's just more types of observations, super cold thermal fluid aeroframes, and then the science loop. Also turns out the space elevator did shut off, so I'm even out of iron ingots in space right now, so we won't be producing any science anytime soon. I don't feel in a big hurry to get it back up though. If this stuff isn't set up, no need to send the rocket, and I can eke out a little bit more efficiency out of the rocket loading Holmanite, the key ingredient for getting the space elevator back online.
Any mods?
Yes, a lot of quality of life stuff.
Oh, I was just calling to get you banned.
Oh.
Yeah, I was asking if a mod could remove you.
Hey, any mods in this 4-person Discord call?
I'm about to knock this punk ass bitch onto the ground.
Actually, he's a cyberpunk ass bitch. Slightly different.
Give me the fucking keys, bitch.
Bounce, play on, name the game.
I don't think it's a game I've ever played.
Wrong.
Is it Mario Party 2?
No,
Is it Mario Super Strikers?
it's not a Mario game.
No, then I don't know what it is.
It's a Greg Hastings Tournament Paintball 2004. You tell me you haven't played Greg Hastings Tournament Paintball.
Well, I think I did play it once.
Is this like the Tony Hawk of pro skater of paintball games or something?
To this day, nobody knows who Greg Hastings is.
Just like the name of the dev or something.
Yeah, they wanted to save space in the credits.
Gaston Phillips.
No one fucks like Gaston.
No one got fucking cucked like Gaston.
That's true.
It's true.
Facts. Hey fans, Walt Disney here. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about the movie before we get started. The main character, who is a female, her name is Belle, and she is a furry. Have a good night.
That was my favorite part of the film. In his Mickey persona.
Honestly, the best casting decision was casting Mr. Beast as the Beast.
Yeah, that was huge. That was really good for his career.
Belle,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you this castle.
Did you ever hear that song that's like, don't wanna live like a na-na-na-na? Because I keep hearing it in my head and just thinking like, don't wanna live like an unwashed celery.
Damn, you got the brain cancer.
Yeah.
Yo, this dude's name's Mr. Hands. What are you, a horse?
What?
Never mind. Don't look it up. Actually, really don't look it up.
This is your fault.
Currently looking it up as you speak.
No. We know I'm in a special type of prison right now.
Yeah, a prison of your own ignorance.
Yeah.
Bruh.
What?
I'm doing some things in TypeScript, and I just keep remembering how fucking idiotic TypeScript is.
Don't wanna live like an untyped language.
Don't wanna live. You can say that it's a function, but if it's in a class, you can't say that it's a function.
Can you do inline comments?
Yes.
Could just comment in the function.
The word
The word function. Yeah.
Function.
Did you watch the X episode of the guy who wrote JavaScript?
What do you mean by wrote JavaScript?
He said he did it in like 3 days.
He died.
What?
I think I found a good balance of how to be productive when the comms are full of people yapping. If you think about it, space science is just that game of put the square block in the square hole. Material science 3 needs a bunch of square blocks, and thankfully the 10% of my brain that is not being used to yap on Discord, but for non-essential things like breathing can be rerouted to work on putting square blocks in square holes. Material science also has the distinct advantage of being on the edge, meaning I can build it out horizontally instead of vertically, saving space north of here that would otherwise be used for train stops that cut into the building space, and this even allows me to refund some of the space back to the biological science, which is the only neighbor. Square blocks, square holes.
David. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, never mind.
Why did you sound so sussy about that?
The fuck? Oh, this is the year 2020.
Oh, shit, no,
Yeah.
not 2020. Fuck that.
We're fucked, dude.
Yeah.
This says Michael, and then Christopher, and then Matthew.
Yeah, Michael's a big one.
Mike, yeah, there's a lot of Mikes, a lot of Chris's.
Too many.
Most popular name?
Yeah, and then for girls, Jessica, Ashley, Emily. Yeah.
Caden, Jackson, Tyler, Braxton.
Oh, damn. Fucking Olivia is number 1 and Oliver is number 3.
Fucking Friar Tuck ass name over here. Jesus.
Yeah, Liam is the top name for boys last year.
Probably after Liam Neeson.
You're named after your grandpa, not that guy I know.
Yeah, not
Fuck him.
my
I
buddy.
mean,
Your
I
name
didn't-
despite my friend. I thought you were gonna say he's not technically your dad.
The third.
yeah.
You should just
Well,
name your kid the third. Nothing else.
I come from a line of cement barons.
What the fuck?
Wait, the son of George Washington?
What?
Manassas Jacob Grove?
How do you have to be to name your kid men's asses?
Wait,
No, man asses.
That's molasses to you.
That's what I always say. Men's asses are molasses. Cash grass ass or molasses.
1824.
Molasses, dude. Buy
Yeah.
now.
Molasses
Ass
asses.
grass or molasses. We didn't have money.
Cash grass ass and molasses.
You could be a concrete baron.
What the fuck?
In terms of research, aeroframe bulkheads are the material given by Astronomics 3 and are a key ingredient in spaceship materials. AI cores are also on the menu, which are needed for supercomputer 3s and what looks like deep space science. Earlier, I said that I have 6 more space sciences to go, and I lied. That's just for the 4 core sciences. In space, there's also matter, advanced, and deep science, which means actually 18 more. I'm hoping the muscle memory I've gained can help build them faster than the first 14 I've made. There's also a key detail I haven't forgotten about since we first found it. The spaceship crashed into the closest asteroid belt. It never felt like something worth going to. It would take a whole cargo rocket, and how the hell am I getting back? It sounded like a trap, but then I realized if a space capsule can emergency burn back to Navis, then I can take a cargo rocket, which are now relatively cheap, to the asteroid belt with 20 or less items and just emergency burn back after I figure out what's going on here. It's the perfect time to do it too. The space elevator is down, and I'm honestly just waiting for the holmium rocket to fill up before any space science can be functional again. In this downtime, I also looked at my planets and fixed up some belts, trains getting clogged, and you'll be happy to know that the big belt from last episode is slowly getting pieced together, one red belt at a time. Before I take off, I wanted to set up Multispectral Analysis 3. It takes more types of cards than Analysis 2, but spits out way more multispectral analysis cards, similar to the Universal Simulation, spitting out more significant data more efficiently. You see, I hadn't planned for this to go here with more data cards, and there's not much room left for them, but fear not, the dark arts of Bob's inserters allow you to solve all your problems caused by your terrible life decisions. Beautiful. Taking another look at the spaceship in the asteroid belt, I can't actually interact with it like everything else I can in the satellite view. It seems that it's not under my control. Some of the objects display touch to capture, which I assume is a PvP thing. I don't really know how it works, but I hope I can just touch it and capture it like it says. It appears to be broken though, so aside from the expensive looking stuff that I can loot, I'm not sure I'm going to get a lot out of this. With my advanced solar panels, accumulators, roboports, and robots, I can actually set up a small base on the asteroid belt as well, in case I ever want to come back. I just assume that the asteroid belt won't get hit by asteroids, which is admittedly a really bad assumption. But like, it's in space and not on a planet. I don't know, I'm just lazy. I just don't want to bring the whole asteroid turret thing. In preparation, I'm dumping my inventory into this warehouse and turning off my personal logistics. This way I can come grab all my stuff after I crash land back here when I'm done. And this looks pretty good. All the essentials, a bunch of extra rocket fuel, a Spidertron, even some space train tracks if I need them. It's nice to be exploring space again, you know, like the name of the mod. This time, it's a little different though. Our first launch to Navis orbit, almost 300 hours ago, we got a glimpse at some wreckage, some helpful materials, some we still can't produce hundreds of hours later. When we finished scanning our solar system, we found this crashed spaceship, and it's been in the back of my mind ever since. Aside from the futuristic technology I can see from the satellite view, I have no idea what this thing is doing, how it got here, who brought it here. I've been half expecting an alien to come back, drive this thing back to my planet, and start shooting me with lasers, pissed off that I would have the audacity to build a factory or something. But all we've heard is silence. As eerie as this has been, it's also been a wonder, like, what even is that? Can I make one in the future? How can I use it? And why do I need it if I already have cargo rockets? questions that have been simmering unanswered for such an insanely long time. In part 1, I mentioned my interesting relationship with RuneScape, and I want to draw a parallel. See, in that game, there are a few gods you can follow, one that's good, one that's evil, one focused on balance of good and evil, and for most of the game, you do quests and they appear here and there. Maybe you care about one or the other, but you're mostly not really thinking about it. It's just a rule of the world. 3 gods, pick your poison, nothing crazy. But when you level up enough, you start to see a 4th symbol pop up, one that you hadn't seen much before. It turns out there is a god much older and more powerful than the others that some people in distant locations still talk about. Eventually, you get an unassuming quest where you plow through a pyramid and get access to these ancient powers that nobody has ever talked about. There is an entirely different spellbook filled with more expensive and powerful spells dedicated to this god. But again, nobody tells you that, and at the start, nobody's like, hey noob, in 300 hours you can follow this god and get these amazing spells. No, it's hidden from the game. A game that lies to you for those 300 hours, then flips the script and shows you the truth. Nowadays, with data mining and games on a constant treadmill to reward you faster than the last one, this isn't really possible. I'm not saying that these are bad things, but it is an unprecedented feeling of awe to discover a secret 300 hours into a game, to have your understanding of the world be flipped that far into your playthrough. Well, that's what's happening right now. For the second time in my life, I'm peeling back the layers of a secret hidden in plain sight for 300 hours. And in this case, I'm filled with wonder, confusion, satisfaction, but also regret and reconciliation. It didn't take long to realize that all the parts to fix the spaceship were sitting inside the spaceship, hidden from me in the satellite view. This means I could have come here in my first cargo rocket and used this spaceship from day 1 in space. Once I learned how it worked, I realized I never would have needed to crash land on a planet in a random location, destroying a large percent of the cargo in the initial cargo rocket. That would have saved me so much time. The main problem on Horaritum was crash landing in the middle of the planet, needing to traverse an insane distance to where I actually wanted the vitamelange processing to be, and then needing to defend on 2 different faraway fronts. But how could I have known? I can't sit here and feel bad for all the time I wasted. I have a race to complete, I need to push forward, and beyond all the time I could have saved, I have netted a fully functional spaceship, and I actually have the technological capability to refuel and repair it. Not to mention, I put a sick Spidertron in the front to shoot down the asteroids with lasers while I fly. This is nice because the spaceship only has a limited amount of power from the solar panels that power it while you fly, and the Spidertron creates its own power, so it can kind of be like its own separate defense system that's independent from the power on the spaceship. I should explain what's going on here. In the top left, I have an interface where I can set the target speed of the ship. There are 3 different target speeds I can set depending on if there are a low, medium, or high amount of asteroids, where going slower in a high asteroid zone helps shoot down the asteroids before they hit the ship. I had to edit the ship a bit before I left because at my current technology level, I can only really make a ship about this big if I wanted to shove a Spidertron on it. The more flat space in the front, the more I am weighed down by aerodynamic forces, so you'll see that the front of the ship is mostly angled. Engines in the back work better, and these ion boosters can take ion stream as fuel. This is great news because I make industrial quantities of it in space and it's not very expensive. When traveling, you need to set a destination, and the faster you move, the faster you get to the destination, as you would expect. There are special spaceship walls on the outside and the spaceship ground that define the boundaries of the spaceship. If I took away the outer wall, I wouldn't be allowed to launch. Finally, there's a finite budget for how many items can be on the ship before we leave. Thankfully, I was just under this limit, and my first journey is naturally to Navi's orbit. I'm going to try and figure out how best to use this ship when I get back. Whoever the owners are, I thank them for allowing me to borrow it and not setting a date to get it back. That's the best kind of borrowing. In her maiden journey, the alien vessel successfully landed in Navi's orbit. We're not dealing with aliens anymore. We are aliens. The ion stream is manufactured in a pocket at the southernmost part of the base. There just happens to be a little nook to park this bad boy. I'm setting up an anchor which has an ID that can be used when launching spaceships automatically, and I don't know if I'm going to launch this one automatically, but it at least helps in lining up the pipe that will be used to refuel the tanks with ion stream. The days of hitchhiking on a cargo rocket needing tons of cargo sections and rocket fuel to go to my planet colonies is over. I can now cruise over to them in style using just ion stream. The first candidate for upgrading is the holmium on Baroom. We make it so slowly that researching anything energy related leads to the space elevator breaking down due to a lack of space cable. The new advanced chemical stations and assembling machines coupled with beacons and high tier speed and productivity modules should crank the production up by quite a bit. There is a catch though. I can't land on the planet directly because ion boosters don't have enough thrust to escape a planet's gravity. Ironically, I would need rocket fuel boosters, which are a tier below ion boosters, and I'm close to but don't quite have enough astronomics to research them. I do have a backup plan though. When I took off to find this spaceship, I only took 20 items with me in case I needed to emergency space capsule myself back. In a similar vein, I can land in the orbit around a planet, then take a space capsule down with 20 items. Given that I only really need the advanced buildings, wide area beacons, and modules, I don't really need the remaining 200 slots in my inventory. I will be doing this without logistics turned on, so it will be annoying grabbing belts and inserters by hand when I need them, but I do like how weird this method is. Something about flying above a planet, then jumping into a trash can to float down feels really appropriate for this run. Before I land, there is one thing that didn't need any of my help in completing. The big belt.
Yo. Let's go.
Gonna order it from Mexico. Aw, nah, just Gaslighter. Gaslight.
Gaslight.
I'm like, oh boy, you're all going to stay with Grandma today, and Grandma's like, oh boy, yep, we're going to the casino, kids. Let's go.
If only you both had peanut butter allergies.
How did you get yours?
By what?
Your allergies.
It's fried.
I'm so fried, dude. You are a coward. Traitor, asshole. I literally have brain rot.
You can tell.
You're a fucking coward. Sorry, it was like some showing, and it was like so anime he couldn't even explain it. He's like, hey, you guys know about peanut butter ultra 7K M125, right? We're like, what? And he's like, okay, I can't explain this.
It's probably like a live stage 3D projected VTuber concert.
Dude, if it's that, that's hilarious.
I ran one of those once.
What?
VTubers are weird.
Yes.
Yes.
I respect the hustle though. You know, you could be a VTuber. I could be a VTuber. I have the knowledge.
You have a good voice for it.
Yeah.
You just
I mean, all I need to do is sign up for some voice training things to make my voice a little bit more feminine, and then add a voice changer, and then use all the fancy cameras I have. And
no, you should stay 100% masculine. Just be like, fuck you guys, get used to it.
no, because you have to have the build up where, like, after you already have 6 million followers, then you forget to turn on your voice changer, and then it becomes viral.
The VTuber double standard.
I mean, you read stories online where people are like, yeah, I'm a 46-year-old male. I live in this 200 square foot apartment. I run 12 VTubers. I make $36,000 a month.
Yeah.
On like fake OnlyFans accounts of AI generated VTuber porn.
Yep.
Like, oh.
It's a life.
It does actually sound like a full-time job.
Oh yeah. Like you could do it.
Really hard to do.
Yeah, well the posts are usually like, guys, how do I transition to like a normal career? This is exhausting. Like I have to like monitor all these AI chatbots to make sure they're like in the right persona when they're replying to all the simps on my OnlyFans, and I have to like write content for my 6 fake VTubers, and like it's exhausting. You know, I spend 18 hours a day managing VTubers. Like no.
That's the new game, VTuber Management Simulator.
Yeah, but where you pay for the game, but you're actually managing someone else's VTubers.
Yeah.
We'll crowdsource management of our fake AI VTubers by making a game where people manage VTubers. drivers.
Oh my god, wait a minute. Are we
And
gonna
other
go
people will pay to make us money.
we're gonna go full circle here where
Yes.
eventually we're just like tricking people into talking to each other and it's just gonna be like normal human interaction.
It's like some guy in Chile thinking he's talking to a VTuber from OnlyFans, but it's actually some person in California thinking they're playing a game.
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of collecting money.
Good, good, good.
Must install more spyware. You must log in to install drivers. No.
Cease
This is
a focus on propane, the only thing that grills.
Yo, Hank hurt.
I burnt myself today.
See if I still feel it. Yeah.
Steak.
I jumped onto a rope swing and then like got second-degree rope burn on my hand. And now
That's
like
pretty
the
good.
inside of my hand is just like covered in blisters. But as a member of the gamer class, I persist.
Mm.
Is there a randomized name? I'm so bad at names.
The best thing that you can do is choose your name one letter at a time, and but we go in a circle, and you go until you run out of letters. Like you go until it doesn't let you type anymore.
What?
That's a yes.
A.
I
P is in Paul.
L
Z
E.
space.
Q.
U
Q
U.
I
E.
N.
R.
Queener.
Yeah.
I think that's enough letters.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce it anymore.
That's
Kipples
fine.
Queener.
Queener. Well, I'm gonna click proceed. All right.
Your Honor, I maintain that these men are a handicap, thank you. In any case, I recall telling you we're going to fix up our holmium processing, so let's cruise on over there. Flying a spaceship is exciting the first time, then you quickly realize it's just you and some rocks flying at you, nothing else to do. I suppose it would be a good time to look at research or fix some stuff in the satellite view, but the game feel of instantly teleporting somewhere with a cargo rocket versus having to twiddle your thumbs in this thing is a bit weird. If you're keeping up with the Friday Fun Facts, the giant factory thing that you make in space that eats asteroids and has claws and stuff looks super hype. In many ways, this mod had to walk so that update can fly.
And then she got a concussion and died.
I actually don't know if this mod will die. There may be a compatibility update. I honestly haven't really been paying attention because I've been too busy dumping 100 hours per month into this mod. It's such a beloved and monumental mod. It would be really cool to see it transported over, even if it is the same thing as the Space Age update with many more steps. Anyway, I'm floating over Baroom, ready to plunge down in my trash can. Just need to choose a spot to land at. I hope the spaceship owner doesn't have the Find My Phone app and get this while I'm gone.
Now we get to kill it.
And thus begins the travel to all my planets and upgrade the productivity, speed modules, machines, and beacons for advanced resources portion of the run. Holmium might be slow, but so is Iridite, Beryllium, and Vitavolage. It's nice that the spaceship makes it cheap to travel between planets, but the whole travel to orbit, fly down, fly back, 10-minute spaceship AFK time loop is a bit jank. I just want something to fidget with on the spaceship, really. And then I realized something. I brought my whole inventory down to Baroom. Space capsules can take any amount of inventory down to a planet, but only 20 items back up. Instead of problem solving, I reloaded like a coward and just flew the spaceship back. I really only lost like the 10-minute trip there, thankfully, but SpaceX does whatever it can to find me lacking. Except surprise, we went to Infomani instead. Infomani makes vulcanite, which is twice as efficient at making holmium than using coal and stand. Additionally, you can only use productivity modules if you use the vulcanite smelting recipe because I'm not actually sure why. It's my modules from my hard-earned cash. Just let me use them, damn it. Either way, I set up a rocket that sends only vulcanite, and I'm going to put a landing pad near the holmium smelting. This rocket will also be useful for beryllium, which has an identically efficient vulcanite recipe for smelting, but doesn't yet import any. I can actually kill 2 landing pads with one rocket just by giving the landing pads for holmium and beryllium the same name and setting the rocket to any landing pad with name. While I'm here, I can add a wide area beacon to ramp up the vulcanite production speed. I'm not as worried about productivity because we have a core miner that will make an infinite amount of vulcanite, and it doesn't have to be made that quick compared to its demand. Better speed beacons dramatically ramp up production, but also power consumption, so I need to be a bit careful to make sure I increase power production after my beacon inquisitions. Man, the color palette here is so pretty. Dramatic hot colors slowly flowing on conveyor belts. If I had more time, I might stay here and watch everything flow together. But I don't. So I'm leaving. Ion boosters are so efficient I don't even need to refuel at Navi's orbit. I can now go straight to Barum and continue my crusade across my own galaxy. First thing is to set up a pad for vulcanite deliveries. Right here is perfect because I can combine it with sand to turn it straight into pyroflux, the liquid form of vulcanite needed for smelting. Compared to industrial furnaces, advanced furnaces are faster and allow for one more module slot, which in this day and age is about 15% more productivity. The problem is they're a bigger structure at 7x7, so I need to reconfigure some of the belts and pipes. It dawned on me that I am demolishing a giant factory to make it faster and more efficient in like 10% of the space, which is pain. It's only pain. I reap the rewards of increased productivity, and it's just holmium and more pain. As much as it pains me to see a factory get smaller, these advanced chemical stations are incredible at 8 times faster than normal chemical stations. I love this animation, and when you get them fully speed beacon, they just go brrrr and spit out resources, and I just love it. The bigger buildings are harder to fit, but also give you more real estate to add inserters and loaders off of, so it's actually kinda nice in a weird way. Just like on Infomani, there's an increased power cost associated with these upgraded buildings and beacons. Barum, the planet I'm on right now, primarily gets its power through solar panels and burning oil, so it was time to roll up my sleeves, build out an immersite mine and an oil field. An immersite mine might sound unrelated, but I make immersite crystals to make advanced solar panels here, and they have since dried up. I actually have tons of real estate with unbuilt solar panels, so just adding this mine will help a ton with beginning the chain of filling in those blueprints, and this planet has a respectable 97% solar efficiency, so I'm hoping this will be enough. And during the day it is. It's just during the night it's not. As simple as burning oil for power is, I think it would have paid dividends to just add nuclear power here. Barum literally processes and sends up uranium-235 to space. It would have been so worth it to just set up a nuclear power plant. But the sunk cost fallacy keeps sinking, and I'm just going to keep expanding solar accumulators and oil burning. And I had to go to the bathroom, so I'm just going to AFK, and when I come back, I'm going to check to see if the power will stabilize. I'm sure nothing unexpected is going to happen. He returned.
You're out of iron in space. I'm trying to figure out why.
Space is now fed by ingots that go into the space elevator.
Space elevator won't work because you're out of iron to build space cable.
Just frame one.
Boom.
Space production has stopped, but like space production only really matters if I'm researching stuff.
I have a train with a no path sign, and that triggers me so fucking much you don't understand. Okay. Ugh.
You could just like press N and scroll around and smell the roses, pretend like it's not
Oh,
there.
I'm stuck on Infamani, so I have nothing else to do. The last thing I did was slaughter all the fucking fighters.
Oh, so the no path is just because the thing's stuck in.
Yeah, I
Space
figured
elevator.
that part out.
The thing is like you need like 4 cable per minute. So I don't really want to turn this thing on and then have it slowly like degrade again.
Oh, so the thing just consumes iron then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
So I'm bolstering up the holmium because I don't want to run out of holmium, and then like if I can get just a little bit of iron.
I didn't realize
then
it just
it'll-
had a passive drain. Yeah, that makes
Yeah, it kind of sucks in that regard, but like
Well,
otherwise.
we need to get enough iron to make rail signals so I can signal off this thing so your other trains will move.
Yeah, I mean, all they're gonna do is science, but none of the science can go right now because I just don't have the resources.
Okay, so where the fuck are you actually?
I'm on Baroom, the holmium planet. I'm trying to make its power not get fucked.
Nice. Yeah, I've finished my grind and a bunch of other stuff, so I'm back to Factorio for at least a little while.
Da 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 da.
You have your date now. You need to beat by.
I do. Yeah.
You're like more than halfway, and that's like a halfway.
Yeah, if summer doesn't like consume more time. And I'm at science 3 for everything except for material.
What do you want me to do? What is my purpose?
It's a great question. So what I've been doing is just going to places that can get and use better stuff via spaceship. I mean, I could go with a cargo rocket. It's not the end of the world. It's just more efficient to use a spaceship.
So did you build your own spaceship?
I just hijacked the one. I still can't build them yet. I think you have to get like advanced science or the science 4s. I'm not sure. Honestly, you could configure the Morrigan rocket to load iron.
The one that goes to Morgan or one on Morgan?
The one that goes Morrigan to space. You need to just jump in a rocket to like get to Morrigan and then take a rocket to get to space again or something. Like you can send them before they're full. It doesn't matter.
Man, these tiramisu Oreos are like crack, dude.
Yeah.
Now I'm just waiting for the public transport to take me to space.
Just want to quickly point out that the holmium production was successfully increased even when the power is a little sketchy. It used to be about 1 per second, and now it's filling up this red belt much more respectably. More importantly, though, Wozz is back. This is amazing,
second line
but
to make
even
6
being
rocks.
gone for just a few weeks, the factory in space
then,
is
the
almost
rest of the deck is
unrecognizable
like-
to anyone.
There's-
A space elevator, 12 new space sciences, scrap processing, a deletion of the previous space factory, and most recently, some spaceship shenanigans were all difficult to describe in a short amount of time. I also spent a lot of time talking about magic with my other friend, neglecting to come up with something useful that Wozz could help me with, given that I solely understand everything at this point, which I regret. I should have just given him the spaceship, shown him how it worked, and had him go do these upgrades while I continued building out space sciences. In normal circumstances, Wozz can figure these things out on his own. He's certainly a big boy, but space has gotten so exponentially more complicated. It's just the nature of the mod. To his credit, he did fix a few things in space regarding the space sciences, but still, I could have onboarded better.
Well, I'm just gonna keep digging.
You should take a look right there.
One sec. I am in the kitchen.
Where you fucking belong.
What was that?
Nothing.
What was that, bitch?
Take a look at this inconspicuous looking spot in the base.
Yes, I see. Is that instant?
No, so I was just floating around and then it asks you to anchor. So I already made the trip.
Okay.
This is actually a really good way to level up turrets. And one of them's already a sergeant.
I saw a YouTube video from this really cool dude who for 2 months he ate nothing but McDonald's beef patties.
That's fucked up.
Sad.
When everything seems to be broken. What's that? Who sings that?
Oh. I just want you to know who I am.
See, it's Matchbox 20 or the Goo Goo Dolls.
Goo Dolls.
Got it.
'Cause I don't think that they'd understand. Why are you like drowning?
You haven't heard the song before?
No, I have, but it's the extreme gargle factor going on.
Sounds like you haven't.
Question.
Yeah.
Are you making material insight?
Okay, so there's a recipe. There's different recipes. They all make the same type of insight. There's more efficient recipes. So they're using the more efficient recipe.
Oh, okay, I see.
I honestly wish it was less complicated than that, but here we are.
I mean, did you read the blog post talking about how the guy who made SpaceX like did a write-up and he's like, okay, this needs to be like 200% less complicated.
Sounds about right. It's about my experience.
Oh, are we being recorded, by the way?
Yeah.
But we're not in the recording booth.
Recording booth means you're guaranteed recorded. This means it may be recorded.
Apparently you didn't read the fine print.
I can charge a higher rate. This is not. This is non-union work.
Speaking of slurs, the mod comes out 10/2, yeah?
10/21.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. We've spent all winter playing Factorio.
That's a Monday,
boys.
too. Who wants to take off the entire week?
I can't afford that.
Coming out on a Monday.
Coming from someone who does software development, I would much prefer to release on a Monday than any other day.
That's true. Just wish somebody would think of the customer again. You know what I'm saying? Like as a customer, like who's thought of the customer?
I think you're having a stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh man, this would be a lot easier to understand if I actually played sometime in the last 2 months. So.
Yeah, I was gonna. It's a tough. Debugging is gonna be close to.
This is a good challenge though. This is like helping me IRL, looking at new code and debugging.
Yeah, once the space elevator goes back on, it might be a lot easier. I turned off the cargo rocket from Navis once I had the space elevator, and I didn't anticipate the space elevator running out of space cable. I turned the cargo rocket back on just to like let whatever is still being loaded in like actually launch up.
Next on my chopping block was Horror-Tomb, the Vitamelage planet. Productivity modules are arguably more important here, with each cycle requiring 200 Vitamelage blooms. You save a disproportionate amount of... Wait, does that say 30 minutes? JK, we're taking a cargo rocket to teleport there instantly. The reason it takes so long is because it's in another galaxy, and although it'll take 600,000 rocket fuel to get there, I'm not sitting in this rocket for 30 minutes. That's a joke. It's literally a waste of 30 minutes. I landed at the wrong landing pad, so I had to stuff all the rocket sections in my pockets and call a cab. It was kinda embarrassing. But otherwise, the upgrading was very similar to the Holmium. New modules, new beacons, and the modules even work on bioscrubbers, which was a nice discovery. And then a horrifying thought. Every science path has advanced materials like bioscrubbers or aeroframe poles, Vitalic epoxy, heavy girders, stuff like that. All of those require expensive advanced materials and can be made with productivity modules, but not in space, where they are currently being manufactured. This means I could send advanced resources into Navis orbit like they already are to be used generally, then train them down to Navis to produce the advanced materials with productivity modules, then train them back up into space to actually be used. I'm drawn to doing that for the productivity, but really? Materials going to space, then planet, then back to space? That's disgusting. Yes, I can rocket them directly to Navis, but it might take even more effort just to make a new rocket system to handle that. Despicable, disgusting, nasty. Why must I think these thoughts? Why couldn't I just have never realized that? Why can't I productivity in space? Why? Anyway, in my misery, I started scanning a planet with uranium core fragments because I thought Horror-Tomb might run low on uranium, which would be cataclysmic and lead to the entire world dissolving to biters. Turns out that there was an 800,000 uranium mine, which would probably last me till the end of the next year in nuclear fuel, easily within my base on the tomb. I couldn't see it because of my lack of color seeing skill, so I installed a mod that puts ore emojis over every ore patch so even the visually hopeless can participate. Thank you, Emoji Mine mod guy, I appreciate it. After finishing the uranium mine and quelching my fears, I built a cheeky undefended mineral water field, and I discovered the power of the lightning gun that I found in the spaceship. It sure beats the hell out of shooting missiles out of a jet at biters. For some reason, They just don't like the zaps, I guess. I wouldn't have guessed it before, but it's true. I'll remember this. It's working. The increased Holmium production revived the space elevator, and space is back to researching. My job on Horror-Tomb is done as well. The Vinmelange economy is booming, and I want to keep this streak going. Along with the ore patch emoji mod, I also installed FNEI, a mod that helps you look at recipes and plan things. I didn't look up anything about it, which I'm sure is ill-advised and will earn me some very happy and polite comments about how to use it. But it was kinda helpful in clicking through the convoluted catalog and data card recipes. At this point, I was waiting around for some more resources to come in, so I tried to be productive by getting as much of the level 4 sciences done as I could, which ended up with like 3 out of 4 data cards for most of them. They all hit a snag in one way or another that prevented me from actually completing the science, but on the bright side, I was closing in on affording my first spaceship. My first non-borrowed spaceship, that is. It's clear that they are a slower but cheaper version of cargo rockets, not needing cargo rocket sections, and they are much more modular and flexible. I'm just not 100% sure the best way to use them. I imagine I'll need more beryllium given Astronomic's focus on upgrading spaceships.
Where are the bots? Where are the fucking bots? Get in the fucking air!
I have to give it to the biters on this one. I don't think I've gotten an attack since the nuclear power plant was installed on Horror-Tomb, so great timing and positioning. Material Science 3 being completed marks the end of the Science 3s. I have just Science 4s from here on out. And Matter Science, Advanced Science, and Deep Space Science, but we don't talk about those here. And I lied to you again. I had made Astronomics 3, just not belted it over yet. Now the 3s are done. I promise. What? Don't look at me like that. I don't always lie to you, okay? It's at least like 80% facts. You can't sit here and act like it's 50%. Come on. Astro 3 is huge. It allows me to upgrade my spaceship capabilities. Integrity allows me to make bigger ships, and I also want to have rocket fuel boosters on my spaceship so I can take off from planets and not need to land in orbit around them if I want to visit. Back on Navis, I was running low on copper plates, so I finally made the switch and upgraded everything, making copper ingots with vulcanite and productivity 4s in advanced furnaces, and also updating all the train stops on Navis to accept ingots instead of plates. I was additionally running low on green circuits, which was exciting because I hadn't been using productivity modules to make them before, but now I could feel the difference between an ancient factory and a maxed out, fully moduled and beacon factory with 34% productivity on both copper wire and circuits producing over a blue belt of circuits. Sad to see a factory get smaller, but that's just the way Krastorio plays, unfortunately. I then took a short flight over to Morgan to apply beacons and modules. How'd you guess? This part of the run is very obligatory. You feel like you need to do it, but not only are all these beautiful giant factories getting downsized for the advanced buildings, you also have to travel to all of your 6+ colonies to do so, and each time it's exactly the same and there isn't much thought that goes into it. But I can't deny the huge bump in production for advanced resources really feels like it's accelerating me toward finishing science. I guess I did also have a side quest on each planet. Horera 2 wanted uranium, which needed me to visit anyway, so it's not a total waste. In the past, Morrigan imported the cargo rocket sections from Infamani incidentally from getting supplies to finish the Iridite production, but also it imported from space the excess rocket sections that ended up there, came here. And it turns out that something else is going to need those cargo rocket sections in space, so like a 26-year-old Morrigan was cut off from the family life insurance and forced to work the street. Everyone's got to start somewhere. And then I guess I lost the footage or something and woke up on Hagen near the power plant. A bit sketchy, but verified that I still had my kidneys and continued on. Rest assured, you're not missing anything. The module upgrades on Morrigan were the same as every other planet so far. The installation of the advanced buildings and modules for beryllium went well, apparently. This was definitely a thing I did. I know I don't have the footage, but we talked about this. You can trust me. Hagen outputs much more beryllium ingots, which are also needed for space elevator cable on top of the spaceship parts that need it. Beryllium ingots also stack to 100, and I'm really starting to respect beryllium more and more. I will remember you for the tier list, brother. The power implications were so massive, though, I had to build another power plant on an oil field just to compensate. Thank God for blueprints. All of the advanced resources, holmium, vitamelage, iridite, imersite, and beryllium are now producing at a much higher level. It might not have felt like satisfying work, but like cleaning your room, you always feel kinda nice afterwards. There's something to be said for how dense this video was, to actually have more content per content and not just smush 50 hours into one. On that level, meaningful things are actually happening again. I have a spaceship I'm excited to upgrade and automate now that I have researched far enough and have the advanced resources to afford it, and I'm sure it's not going to be the only spaceship in the fleet. It's a bit of a shame that there was such a long period of setting up the first 2.5 levels of each science, but this also might push toward the deep nuances of the mod. After all, astronomics is the first science you unlock. Maybe you just go astronomics all the way to level 4 before you even do energy, biological, or material science. Then you'd have this spaceship and all the tools to repair and upgrade it that enable you to cheaply travel interplanetarily, and you can upgrade things on those planets. On the flip side, you wouldn't have the productivity or speed module 6s from biological science or wide area beacons from energy science, so the upgrades are kinda lukewarm. I don't know if that would be enough. I'm more and more convinced that the mid-game grind is a necessity in this mod, which is a bit of a shame. It feels like if space sciences weren't as complicated, all these juicy space-related upgrades that are fun to play with would actually come sooner and be much more accessible for the average gamer to enjoy. But maybe that wasn't the intent of the mod. Maybe all the fame and hype about this being a space-related mod were accidental, and the brutally difficult challenge waiting beneath was lost in the frenzy. Either way, I feel like I'm through to the other side. I don't think things get easier from here, but I think that things are going to be new. I haven't played with spaceships or any of the crazy upgrades I know I'm about to get, and those upgrades are only going to get crazier. But I'll save that for next time. I got an end date to beat and more Factorio to play.